On pole, dude.
On pole.
Hello and welcome to round 4 of TCOne 2016 here from Sonoma. My name is Ryan Callan and alongside me is former TC2 champion Adam Vaughan and TC1 race winner. Welcome, Adam.
Hello, glad to be here. Really looking forward to this. Watching Kunze absolutely destroy the field again. But looking at qualifying already, there's a little surprise there for us right now.
Yeah, because Bence Banky is currently on pole position at the moment, pipping Julian Kunze by 0.05 of a second as it stands. And looks like maybe Banky, the young Banky, is about to throw a spanner in the works here. But Kunze's got one more run in him. He actually gets 3 laps at this track because the track is so short, 1 minute 11 seconds, as you can see. Get 3 tries at this. Most tracks you get 2 tries. So Kunze's going to go and try and have another go at this. The patch for this game this weekend, hasn't it, Adam? So we're looking for some multiplayer improvements here.
Yeah, there has improves to the net code, things like that. Just looking at the drivers as well. A good friend of mine, I always talk about him, Chris Butcher's been practicing a lot this morning. Did well at this track last season, so I'm looking for a little bit better of him. And as we said last week, practice. If he needs to practice, he'll be there. And 5th, I think that's a solid result for him.
So on the subject of Chris Butcher, it's always been his qualifying, it's been his downturn, hasn't it? It's not been anything about the race pace. Race pace has been fantastic. It's always been his qualifying. It's Mike Bell crosses the line but stays in 12th spot as he was. Marlon Bassos on a personal best also. Marlon Bassos has been a bit of a sneaker in this championship so far, Adam. He's fairly up there in the championship. 13th in the championship as we stand, and I can't remember a single standout result for him. Remember, he won 2 races last year.
Yeah, looking at you got all the quality of all the new Germans coming in has just sort of pipped Marlon. He is a very quick driver again. He does struggle with it with geography of where he is, being in Brazil and pings and things like that. And he seems to struggle lap 1 in and around cars.
Banky 0.141 up in the first sector on his own pole time.
Wow, that is
What
unreal.
is this? Can he finish his lap in time though? It's going to be very, very close. I wonder. Yeah, we're not sure of the old rules of the timing here, are we? On this new patch, whether it's at 0, it definitely ends, or it ends at just a few seconds past 0, or you get to finish a lap. I'm not quite sure, but we'll soon find out as we go along. Banky again is quicker in the middle sector as well. He's absolutely flying here. Could we see a new TPS debut win after this qualifying session? Because Banky looks like he is storming at this track at the moment. In that gold and black Chevrolet, he's coming now out of the final corner. Hugged the wall on the inside, Benzer. Hugged the wall on the inside. Oh, he didn't get to do it. That is it. He didn't get to do it. So when it gets to 0, it does not count from that point. So that is your grid, though. It is Banky from Kunze, from Lerner, from Butcher, from Stanger. Wiesenmuller ended up 6th in the end. He was 3rd at one point. Just a minute or so to go. Shepard in 7th. Bastos in 8th. And now we've got a minute before we go into the race here. And what a turn up for the Bucks, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you
Bence Banky
through that fast section, he was solid, so smooth. There was no understeer. There was just a little bit of oversteer, which is what you need around those, but not too much. Absolutely smooth. And again, like we've said about I forgot his name now. Kunze. If you just watch his wheel lock, there is literally none, and it's a delight to watch. Yeah, Banky looking solid.
Yeah, he's 8th in the championship at the moment going into this race. We're very much looking forward to what he can do from pole position here. 20 seconds before the start of this race. Here are the championship standings as we look. You see Julian Kunze absolutely destroying the field this season so far. He's only had 1 race, I think, where he's not been on the podium, Adam. It's absolutely insane. The 2 Jans in behind him, Jan Stanger and Jan Troostrum. Troostrum not here today. Butcher in 4th, Lerner 5th. So we're about to start this race now. Then they're doing the grid walk. And the race is about to get underway. Wiesenmuller in 6th, Monroe 7th, Banky 8th, Dunedin 9th, and Visa rounded out that top 10. He's come from Division 2, remember.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. Watching how Kunze can actually race with Banky. Something we haven't seen yet. And see how Kunze gets under that pressure.
Yeah, so Kunze leads away though. So Kunze gets the best start of the race, and already Kunze did lead this race. And Butcher around the outside of Banky. He's going to go to 2nd spot here as surely as Banky tries to hold it up on the curb here, but he should be squeezed out, and he is. So Butcher goes up to 2nd. Great start from him from 4th on the grid. Kunzer is in the lead of this race, so Banky, the pole sitter, back to 3rd. Maybe that bit of inexperience, maybe a bit breathless after that qualifying session. Whatever it is, he's been usurped as it is. So the experienced people have now gone ahead of him. We've got 4th place is Wiesenmüller. He's jumped Lerner, and Stanger is in 6th spot right now as Kunzer leads the field down through the fast section of S's here. You've raced here before, Adam. What's it like?
I really enjoy this circuit. I enjoy it's a combination of just fast turns over and just the elevation changes and absolutely light, and feeling the car go light over those elevation changes. The apexes just seem to be on the top of the crest each time, and I love feeling the car go all light.
And it's one of the sleepers we've seen, we haven't mentioned by the way, is Sean Jacobs in 11th spot of this qualifying session. Oh, well, after the first lap at least anyway. And that's an absolutely fantastic first lap from Sean Jacobs. The best he's been after a first lap, definite so far this season. He's racing all the way from Australia, remember. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning here. Fantastic commitment from Sean. He's been at every single race all season long. He's just clung on to his Division 1 status all the way through the season so far, and now he's reaping the rewards. Of course, a little bit difficult for people around him because of that high ping, bless him.
Yeah, you can just see his car on track. He is struggling with ping issues there. Car is just skipping out all over the place. Talking about Butcher as well. Butcher got a great start. He started 4th before the race. Before we actually went on air, Butcher asked us if he could jump the start if it's possible. I'm just wondering, did he test that, and how quickly did he get away before everyone else?
Maybe he just went for it, thought, sod it, I'll just do it, see what happens. And of course, this new patch is, there's a few little foibles here and there, and they seem minor to the casual users, but to drivers who want to get the edge at every opportunity. It's so crucial to know every little trick in the book. As you can see, one of the tricks there is using all of the pit lane and angle it into the corner, as Robert Wiesenmüller did there. But I have to say, I've done that in practice myself, and I end up catching the end of the pit wall more often than not.
Yeah, you end up with your car sort of turning in at an angle that's too early, and I don't think you need to run along it really, because you're already half sort of turning in. I prefer to just keep it on the natural line, and Butcher is looking really quick actually. I'm really impressed with him at the moment.
Yeah, this is probably the most amount of pressure apart from Moritz Lerner at race 2 at Zandvoort that Kunzer's been in while leading a race so far this season, from the early on at least anyway. So Butcher looking very quick here. He seemed pretty determined when we were speaking to him pre-race in the week coming up to this. So Butcher looking really quick. Of course, he's got Banky right in behind him. Nobody's really close right now, apart from Stanger and Shepard. They're very close. They're locking horns once again. Remember, they locked horns plenty of times at Mid-Ohio. They're in that massive battle pack that we were watching last time out of them. And Chris Shepard, he felt very hard done by at the end of race 1, but bounced back in race 2 and race 3, and looks like he's continuing his good form consistently in the top 10 and challenging the top 5 all season long.
Yeah, looking at Chris, he has got the pace. It's just his racecraft, I think, just lets him down now and again. But in terms of the last few races, he's right on form, and if he can just improve that racecraft, positioning the car, knowing when to defend, when to attack, I think we're going to see Chris Shepard possible podium this race. Yeah,
I'd say Chris is a very aggressive driver, isn't he? But he just perhaps needs a bit more control in the crook situations. But of course, it's very easy to go past the other way as well and be a bit too soft and get mugged, especially at this level of racing where you get out of line once and 4 people come past you, which is exactly what happened at Mid-Ohio to him and several other drivers when watching. Oh, and in the background there was that Bogdan. Bogdan clipped the inside curve far too hard and got sideways onto grass. He was on 2 wheels still. He's trying to recover, and Bogdan is dropping back from the field here. He was in 8 spots, and now he's down to 13th. And down the inside! Not going to make it happen. Just cut him off there. That is Janko Glavic gone past him, and Brizola trying to get past him as well, with Eric Strana profiting from that, as is Sean Jacobs in the top 10. Mike Bell now in 9th spot as well. Sorry, Bogdan was in 9th, I think, not 8th spot. But it's Bassos in 8th. Behind Shepard. Bell's now in 9th with Strana, Jacobs, Glavach, Bogdan right in the middle of this group now, and we've got Brizola in behind him. So again, small mistake. He got on the grass ever so slightly, and he lost 4 position, Adam.
Yeah, we actually when we logged into the server, we were actually on Bogdan's car, and he did exactly the same thing at that corner. He went on 2 wheels and hit the wall. So that's quite interesting. He's obviously trying to nab as much curb as he can there, but it come back to bite him there.
Drivers always take an inch and then they try and take more, don't they? Doesn't matter what limits you give them, they always go over them. We've always had this in the old race administration over the years. It doesn't matter what limits you give them, really. They'll always try and break them, push them to the absolute limit. That, of course, that is part of competition. Chris Nat's making his debut in Division 1, and he's in 17th spot right now, so acquitting himself very well indeed. The son of Dirk Nat, who got a couple of good results at Mid-Ohio. Dirk not able to attend today, but Chris upholding the family honour.
Yeah, very strong position. 17th in Server 1 is not bad. If I come back now, I'd be further back, but great debut in Server 1 this. And look, racing in quite a tight group as well, and all sort of being very friendly at the moment, but it's race 1. Yeah,
it's been very friendly, hasn't it, so far? We've been pretty surprised considering what happened at Mid-Ohio. There's 29 drivers in the server right now. If Adam was in the server, he'd be 32nd. Chris Butcher is at the front of the field, still challenging Julian Kunze, but they're dropping Beds Banky, Adam.
Yeah, there's a very impressive pace from both of them, actually, and Banky looked really quick. And I don't think Kunze's ever come up with Chris behind him. I believe he was closer in the last few rounds at Mid-Ohio, but if he hasn't had an angry Northerner behind him before, he's going to know now, and Chris will be dancing all over the back of him.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of times this season so far how close Chris gets to the back of other drivers, and that's pretty far away for Chris Butcher, to be honest, but pretty close to lots of other drivers. He's non-stop pressure, and he's got the eyes on. He's got the feeling that he can win a race here today, and to use up the mighty, there's no other word for it so far this season, madam, the mighty Julian Kunze would be a feather in his cap.
Yeah, he has been absolutely just unreal this season, unbeatable, and when he has been beaten, it's because, well, it's you feel like he's let them.
Yeah, always just go ahead and have a little bit of a race amongst yourselves. I'll just watch this race, which is almost what it felt like at Mid-Ohio when he ran in 4th place for so long, just in behind Jan Trostrom. Didn't really attack very much, just kind of followed everyone, and eventually got his podium position anyway. Lost no ground to his his championship contenders. Has over 100 points lead. There's 50 points for a win, so he's got 2 race wins under his belt over the closest person in the championship to him. But right now, he's under massive amounts of pressure. He's not thinking about championship right now. He's thinking about trying to hold off Chris Butcher. Chris is looking very menacing indeed. We've been aboard with Kunze for a whole lap now, pretty much, and Chris Butcher has not lost 1 iota of ground and not gained 1 iota of ground either.
Yeah, it looked like he just lost a little bit there. He tried to take a bite out of that curve, and he just sort of pushed his front end away from the corner. Chris is not actually, it doesn't look like he's being aggressive. I think he's actually just waiting for Kunze to make a mistake. He's not dancing at the back of them like a 40 would be. It looks like this is a Butcher who's has got his brains on today and is waiting for Kunze to make the mistake. Personally, I don't think he's going to make it.
No, exactly. But is that brains waiting for Kunze to make a mistake? Has he made a mistake this season? I mean, you may argue he's been over-aggressive in a couple of situations. He's had a penalty so far this season, but has he made a mistake? I can't remember one. Not glaring, anyway.
Has he had pressure like this, though?
Only from, I think, Lerner in race 2 at Zandvoort. And that's his teammate, so he knows he's not going to make a massive impact on him. Maybe Kunze's just so quick. It's just all Butch can do to keep up right now. And talking of keeping up, Banky is not keeping up with these front 2, and he's coming under increasing pressure from 3 times TPS champion Robert Wiesenmuller.
Robert will make a move. There's no debating now. Robert will make a move, and I'd say he's going to look for it now.
Here we go. Done. There we go. Done. That's it.
I just had to wait for that.
So Wiesenmuller goes up into that 3rd spot. Banky just dropping down the field slowly but surely here. Clearly has the 1 lap pace. Could have gone even quicker in qualifying, remember, but doesn't quite have the race pace of the guys around him. Could just be his very young driver. Could just be some kind of inexperience. Just thing that comes with maturity is as he makes another small mistake under pressure, and Lerner goes through as well. So everyone taking advantage of Banky here. He's slipping back to 5th spot, the pole man.
Yeah, he is. I'm interested to see if Robert can actually get into the back of Butcher, and them being not teammates no more, Robert being former THR driver, seeing what sort of relationship they have on track.
Them being not teammates no more.
Them not being teammates anymore.
I'm sorry, I had to bring it up. Yes, it will be interesting, won't it? Because he's 2 seconds behind Butcher right now, but clearly he can catch it up. Because if he's got some speed, which it seems like he has, he might be able just to ease away at Chris Butcher, who has brought the gap back down to Kunze to a couple of tenths of a second here. We're now watching Klaus Schulze doing very well in his Division 1 debut as well, right in behind Chris Nats, who we were just talking about before. So Schulze destroyed Division 2 last time out at Mid-Ohio, won all 3 races extremely comfortably in the kind of time that would have put him around at about this position at Mid-Ohio as well. So he's showing consistency. He's been doing very well in the TC2 Championship as Chris Nats covers from him. Schulze going to go try and round the outside. Will this work? They're still side by side coming off the corner. Oh, don't want to be side by side through here, Adam. What are they going to do? Sort it out, lads. And now touch up from Chris, and Chris has got sideways and through. Also has gone off the track, has gone into the wall. That was Marco Mueller. Marco Mueller there getting himself into trouble. And Pedro Amaral, I'm apologies, it's the same car. Marco Mueller out of the race. We thought that one of those drivers would come off worse, but I didn't think it would be Marco Mueller.
No, Marco Mueller was just trying to pinch an overlap there as Schulze was trying to make his way through, and then somehow ended up on the outside into the wall.
Bless him.
Not quite sure how he did that. It was opportunistic. It was the right thing to do, actually. He looked like he had the pace in him through that fast section, but...
Oh, it's always going to end in disaster, wasn't it? Always going to end in disaster. That's a almost flat out section where you just dab the brakes halfway through it. And, Jacobs up the inside of Eric Strana here. Remember, Eric Strana is a TC3 champion, and in a fantastic season that we had, won the championship by 1 point over Chris Butcher back in 2013. And he's putting a huge amount of pressure on Mike Bell here. Mike, another TPS stalwart, has never had a podium position, though, hasn't Mike? He's come ever closer this season so far, but he's under huge amounts of pressure right now from Eric.
Yeah, he is. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, because Chris Butcher is alongside and challenging Julian Kunze going into the first corner here. It's a long way around going to there and not able to make it stick this time round. But Chris, he's back on the offensive, and now he's got an overlap here also as well. He's going to force Kunze to go narrow to this corner. He won't be able to pass him, but he will compromise his line and maybe compromise his line down into the section down the bottom of the circuit. He's going to do it! It's going to be a superb pass and a superb racing move from Chris Butcher. He set that up for several corners and he takes the lead.
Yeah, he did. It was absolutely awesome stuff there. The way he set that up through those fast sections, just getting on the outside as Kunze. It looks like he's making a move around the outside.
He's made it stick as well. He's got the overlap. Butcher's not letting him come through. We've seen this before with Schulze and Nats, but these two have kept it quiet. Oh, and Butcher's off. Will he hit the wall? He's avoided it. He turned to the left. He's avoided it in to the wall to the side, though. And Chris Butcher, he went in all or nothing. He went full into that, and now he's down to 8 spots. He's got small amount of damage in his car, but he can fight to live another day. But he knows that going into race 2 at least, he has the opportunity to beat Kunze here. That was almost a pass that he made, just a little bit too defensive after he got past.
Yeah, he was way too narrow coming into that corner, and Kunze did the right thing, sort of what Chris did to him previously, and just was a sort of step outside. I thought Chris was way too narrow. Kunze managed to get the corner on the get him on the outside. But what interesting from Chris, he seemed to just want to throw it in there, and that's how he lost it. I think he just would have been better off just backing away ever so slightly there.
Yeah, we've seen how dangerous that section is. We've seen it twice now, 2 drivers side by side, and 2 people have crashed each time.
Yeah, it's one that they need to. I enjoy it, to be fair. I do it. I think if I got the run on somewhere here, I just think it's there. But because it switches left, right, suddenly you think I've got this, and next thing it switched the other way, and you're on the outside.
Yeah, and the Slovakian was on pole position for this race. Butcher was in the lead of the race, this race, an Englishman, and somehow, through all of that, it's ended up with a German 1-2-3. So, German domination continues in this championship. Wiesenmuller is closer, of course, to Kunze after all that kerfuffle. But Wiesenmuller doesn't look like he's got the pace that Butcher has. He's just a tenth or 2 slower a lap. And it's enough to make the difference where Kunze can just pull away now. And maybe Wiesenmuller can't put enough pressure on Julian as the race goes on. But we never know. There might be a small amount of damage on Kunze. I didn't think there was. Not much contact between him and Chris. I'm like yourself, I'm surprised Chris threw it in there at that point. It would have been much more sensible just to back off and have another go. But of course, no one's really beaten Kunze this season so far, so you've kind of got to go for every opportunity you get, and maybe he was thinking he wouldn't get another opportunity. You know, it is hard winning that racing seat. It's much easier on the outside to judge that, especially with that hindsight.
Yeah, the camera angle we had as well was actually perfect to watch sort of how narrow he is when he threw it in, and the turn was sort of already there, and he was too late to it.
And as you can see, it's so fast. I mean, these guys are going 200 kilometers an hour through this section. It just isn't. You just don't have the room. You just don't have the room. If you're not perfectly on the line. Oh, hello, Rob. Ooh. Well, that's one way to gain half a second. How did he get that stopped?
I take back what I said about the pit lane. I'm using the pit lane. I'm using the pit lane.
That was absolutely insane.
just the amount of ground he held up, and that was about half a second, wasn't it?
That was absolutely insane. I think it was about half a second, and he got it stopped as well. That's absolutely unbelievable. And now he's all over the back of Kunze once again, who's under pressure once again. It was fantastic.
Looks like he's trying to set up a similar move to Butcher there. Just, I'm going to go half a car outside and try and get this.
Oh, Rob's got it. Rob's got him. He's under all kinds of pressure right now. Is Kunze, and Rob smells blood. And Rob the Shark, you know what happens when he smells blood? He goes down the inside. That's it. Done. Thank you very much. I'll take the lead of this race. You ain't coming back past. I'm not leaving a bit of room like Chris did. And Rob leads the race. What on earth? It's just absolutely unbelievable. Half a lap ago, well, less than half a lap ago, we were talking about Rob maybe not having the pace to keep with the Kunze because he lost a few tenths, a bit of ground, and suddenly Rob's in the lead of the race after a superb braking move, which wasn't an out-braking move. It just got him close to Kunze and put Kunze under all kinds of pressure. And now Kunze looks like he's under pressure from his teammate Moritz Lerner.
Yeah, and Banky has also caught up to the back of this train now. If anyone wants to know how to overtake, by the way, watch what Rob did there. He threw up the inside, and then, because he was so close to Kunze, he just literally stopped the car in the middle of the corner. Kunze couldn't go absolutely anywhere. He just slowed him up, and even onto the left kick to the side as Lerner goes sideways, even onto the left kick to the side, he literally stopped the car on the inside again then, and Kunze just lost all momentum. Robert was not favourite then to come out of that corner well, but what he did was just stop it there. Kunze couldn't do nothing. Yeah,
take the high ground. And I've got to say, Adam, out of all the drivers in the TPS right now, I have to say Rob is probably the best overtaker.
He's unreal. Every move I've watched him do since commentating has just been on the edge, just perfection. He's been a bit too aggressive at times, but I think that comes with someone who knows he's very good at overtaking.
Yeah, it does. And Banky had just missed the apex on the left-hand side, which meant he had to clobber the curb on the right-hand side and lost ground to Moritz Lerner through here. But it is not finished between Wiesemuller and Kunze. Look how close Kunze is through the fast section, and Kunze just lost a bit of ground, and it's allowed Wiesemuller just to take his normal line. I thought maybe he had to defend there, but he could take his normal line, and that was quite key. That loss of a tenth of a second is a difference. When you're this top level, it makes such a difference. Butcher, by the way, is back up to 6th position after falling back to 8th after that incident. He's now 3 seconds behind Stanger, though. Oh, and Kunze's gone. He's going to go off, is he? Where is he? There he is. He's going to go off. He's going to go straight on. Banky's going to go through, surely, and Kunze's down to 4 spots. We talked about Kunze not making mistakes. Well, there's one right there. That's absolutely unbelievable. Kunze under pressure here today. Butcher's passed him. Wiesemuller's passed him. Even after Kunze had a gap to Wiesemuller, Wiesemuller managed to pass him, and now he's made a mistake in a very difficult part of the circuit, quite frankly, for a front-wheel drive car, to be fair, and he's back to 4th place. This is unheard of. This is why I love touring car racing, Adam. Just small mistakes like that, and you lose huge amounts of ground, and it's so exciting.
Yeah, because you're on the edge there as well. He was always just going to wash out wide there. And like I was saying earlier, he said Chris could have got him at any. Chris looked quick. Chris dropped back and then come back at him, and sadly for him, he got him at the wrong part of the track. But Chris could have had him. And Robert, who qualified 6th, has just gone, you know what? I'll grab half a tenth at one hairpin, and then I'll do you at the next. Absolutely unreal. He's just feeling the pressure, and I know it's sim racing, but it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it's absolute pressure. There's almost no less pressure here in a race like this than there is in real life, quite frankly, because you still there's still the desire to win, the burning desire to beat the drivers around you, especially when you're a country you've been dominating the season so much. You feel like you probably even almost think you know you're better than the rest of these drivers around you. So when someone takes half a second out of you in one corner under braking, it just must rattle you a little bit because he's not used to that. This season so far, he's had it all his own way, apart from when he didn't qualify in pole position, had to fight his way through the field, which is understandable. But that is a turn up for the books, and it never fails to surprise me, TPS. It really never does. The competition is so high. It looked like these drivers are just driving around, yeah, whatever, on the track, not making mistakes, but they are on the absolute edge of adhesion all the way around the track. Meanwhile, Robert Wiesenmuller is on the last lap of the race. He's got half a second over Kunz's teammate Moritz Lerner in behind him. Just got one more corner to negotiate here, and Rob looks like he's going to take his first and belated win of the season here. Rob will be absolutely delighted. He had no expectations coming to this race, and he's going to take the win after a superb drive from 6th spot. Robert Wiesenmuller takes the win here in TCOne 2016, round 4, race 1 at Sonoma.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff from Rob. Really tough for him, actually, because he was really down after Mid-Ohio, even talking about just stopping it completely. So well done, Rob.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic stuff from Robert Wiesenmuller. But the fighting has not finished back down the field. We got Klaus Schulze here fighting with Chris Wiese. Remember, both of these are Division 2 graduates, and they're going to cross the line in 15th and 16th spot. Fantastic stuff from them. Bell ended up finishing 12th in the end. Bogdan recovered back to 11th. Jacobs faded at the end to 13th spot, but that's still, I think, his best result of the season so far after a 15th spot at Mid-Ohio. So he's continuing to improve, considering, remember, he races at 4 a.m. Koshkin took 14th with Sakovic. On his return to the series, he took 16th, should I say. Nat 17th, Hollock in 18th, Stefanovic 19th, 20th Lazarenko, Wheeler in 21st, Tarski, Brizola, Ilya, Mueller and Kexel did not finish the race. Neither did Dinka Andre. We saw what happened to Martin Mueller. Didn't see what happened to Kexel or Andre, unfortunately. But here are the results of the race. As you see them, Lerner set the fastest lap of the race, but Wiesenmuller was not far behind in that regard. So, Butcher did finish in 6th place in that, but he's obviously just left the server. So just move everyone from 6th place down one position, and you have the accurate results right there. So, Adam, that was a fantastic race. Much better than we expected when we saw Kunze take the lead on the opening lap.
Yeah, exactly what I wanted really from this race. I didn't want to see Kunze just going out in front, and I don't feel it's Kunze's not as quick as he has been. I think people have stepped it up. Robert stepped it up. Chris has stepped it up massively, and then you've got Banky being introduced as well, who finished 3rd. I think it's great for the championship, this race. Absolutely, really enjoyed that.
It is, absolutely. But I don't know whether this is the cycle of what perhaps Kunze goes through, where he dominates an event, and then the next event he thinks he's got it made, and he obviously gets back in the pack like he did at Nürburgring. So then he redoubles his efforts and goes to Mid-Ohio and dominates there again. And then he comes back to round 4 and he thinks he's got it made. And again, people come back at him. I wonder if that's a cycle perhaps he's stuck in at the moment.
Yeah, maybe he's possibly comfortable with all his... I mean, none of his championship rounds were anywhere near him at Mid-Ohio. And maybe he's just got a little bit too comfortable, not done as much practice. I don't think that's the case, personally. I just think other people have stepped it up. Chris... I don't think he's done a lot of practice, to be fair to him. He's just done a lot today. I think he's been on it all day.
He was saying, we both speak to Chris quite a lot. He was saying he's done quite a bit this week. So, but I can't say I've seen him on RaceRoom. He could have been sneaky.
No, I think he's just done a little bit more than he has been in previous rounds, and he's seen that improvement. The improvement is huge to the point where he could have had Kunze anywhere he wanted around that race. Apart from that right-hander.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's talk about Robert Wiesenmuller, though. Remember, he's the race winner there. And he's been struggling so badly this season. He came into this season with such high expectations. Thought he could win the championship. Got massively discouraged by the pace that Kunze had. Then he came back at Nürburgring. Thought he had it again. And then he saw Kunze destroy everyone at Mid-Ohio. I mean, he was 10 seconds at the end of each race, winning the races by, which is unbelievable. And didn't even participate in the second race at Mid-Ohio out of frustration, Rob. And then he's gathered himself together, come back with a few less expectations, and suddenly race win.
It's a pressure thing, isn't it? I was literally talking to him the night of the Mid-Ohio races, and he was asking me should he stop doing it altogether, and I was just trying to explain to him that he shouldn't, because I mean I miss it massively, but I wouldn't want to go back into it because I expect to win, and I think Robert's the same, and I think probably coming in with less expectations has been huge for him. And then this will give him another confidence boost, and the mixture's just right for race 2.
Yeah, I mean this, and what is funny actually is this was the scene of his his last rage quit from TCOne when he had an incident in, I think, lag incident in race 2 here last year, and didn't come back for race 3. So it's interesting the differing fortunes. Last race he had a little bit of rage, and this race last year had a rage. So at least he's made up for that. Last year he only finished, I think, 6th spot in the first race. So massive improvement for Rob here today. The race winners last season were Nato and Chris Butcher. So though remember, Chris has got quite a bit of form here as well. Chris winning twice here last season as he began to mount a challenge more to Miguel Nato. But again, Chris coming to life later in the championship than perhaps he should do.
Yeah, we've seen that last year as well, where he struggled the first few rounds, and then he come to tracks that were more favourable to the Citroen he was driving last year, and he stepped up the practice, and then he's seen the results. I think again he's come in, and every round he tells us he's going to quit the league. so we just take it with a pinch of salt at the moment. But I think quietly he'll be happy with knowing where he is in that race. I think he can't be too discouraged by what happened. That was just pure racing incident. He just got on the wrong side of Kunze, on the wrong part of the track.
Yeah, one of the drivers I want to talk about as well, of course, remember he finished 2nd in that race, Moritz Lerner. He has either had disasters or spectacular results so far this season. He's either been disconnected or involved in incidents or not qualifying well, or winning races or finishing 2nd, which is, really a bang or bust kind of driver so far this season. And he made his way up through the field here. He qualified in 4th spot, ended up dropping back to 5th, but still made his way through the field, kept his calm, and ended up with that 2nd spot. Good performance from him.
Yeah, again, I think he played a nice race 1 strategy. He was patient. Didn't see him make any overtaking moves. He just, as others fell off in front of him, he gained advantage. So it's not a bad way to drive.
No, it's not. And we're going to be back with qualifying 2 in just a minute's time, and we'll see if Ben Spanky can repeat his pole position heroics. Hello, welcome back to TCOne 2016 from Sonoma, round 4 of the championship, the official FIA WTCC series, and we are in the 2nd qualifying session now, so we're going to jump in and see who's setting the pace at the moment. Ben Spanker, remember, he set pole position last time around in qualifying 1. Let's see what he can do this time around in qualifying 2. The time should be appearing any minute now on your left-hand side of the screen. They'll start populating, and we'll see what the drivers have done. Banky, purple in those sectors, of course, because nobody has set a lap time at the moment. Number 26, driving the Daste black and gold Chevrolet. And he crosses the line, and he's the first to cross the line, 11.438, over 0.2 of a second faster than Julian Kunze. I think that has beaten his lap time from the first session. So Banky looking very, very quick here for another pole position. Hopefully he can have a better race than he had last time around, of course. Let's see who else is on a quick lap at the moment. People have not set a lap time so far. Chris Butcher not set a lap time so far. He's green, of course. He's not set a lap time yet, so that's why he's green. But he is some 0.5 of a second off Banky at the moment as he makes his way towards the line. Should slot it around about 6th or 7th spot with this lap. He'll certainly go again though, and he slots into 7th spot as it is. He's going to go straight around and continue his lap. Obviously feels his tyres good enough for 2 laps here.
Yeah, looking through the field as well. Banky, I believe he set 11.5 last time, so 11, and a low 11.4 is unreal, and that's nearly 3 times quicker than Kunze, which...
Ooh, purple. Kunze coming towards the line. What can he do? He's got half a tenth in hand, and he takes pole. What a lap from Julian Kunze. What a response. How about that?
That was a real response. That's a low 3 as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic from Julian Kunze. He, right there, has just laid a statement down. I made a mistake in that first race. I was usurped from pole position in that first qualifying session. Banky set a blistering lap time. But here you go, boys. This is what I can do. Can you match it? Butcher, down towards the final corner. He's green also.
They don't seem to... Robert and Butcher 7th and 8th at the moment. It's quite disappointing, actually, looking at their race pace.
It is, and if they just qualified a bit better, you'd be amazed to see what they could do if they qualified better. And there is a better qualifying. He's in 3rd spot right now as Butcher, and should stay around about that area. So 1 minute 26 to go here, Adam. Yeah, Lerner goes 4th, just behind Chris Butcher. So that means Wiesenmüller is down to 9th. So he is in need of a good lap here. Koshkin, he's on a personal best right now. He's only 6/10 off, actually. So Koshkin could rise up the ranks quite a lot here. If he just gets a decent final sector, could see him move up in around about the top 10. Maybe 12th spot is a target for him. 9/10 is Bogdan. So this is a target for him. Koshkin goes 17th. Oh, Pavel, I talked you up. Another 2/10, it would have made it all the way up into that 12th spot. So 2/10 is the difference between 12th and 17th here, as Lazarenko is also got a bit quicker. None of the fast guys right now are on faster laps at the moment. Lazarenko is going to come towards the line, try and improve on his 27th spot. We've got 28 drivers competing at the moment. A massively deep field of talent. 30 seconds to go in this qualifying session. Is anybody going to improve here? Wiesenmüller, this is what we're looking for. Wiesenmüller in the final sector now then. Coming down towards the final corner. You've seen how mighty he could be under the brakes into this final corner. He has a green first sector, a green second sector. He needs a good final sector here. Getting up into that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot area. He can qualify in 5th spot. He'll be pleased with that. Amaral goes 5th. Wiesenmüller, what can he do? He stays 9th. What on earth is that? He stays 9th.
Wow, that's I'm really surprised with that. Our race winner is currently 7/10 off in qualifying. Okay. Not quite.
Go on, sorry.
Not quite. No, I'm not quite sure.
He's going back out again. He's come back out on track with the timer already done. So we've got a minute before this race starts. Then let's quickly tell you about the rest of the season. As a result, we'll wait for the drivers to populate the track in front of us there. And this is the season we've got coming up. Of course, we're halfway through the season now. Once this race is finished, we've got Brands Hatch, Salzburgring, Suzuka, and Nordschleife rounding out the season. Any track you're looking forward to in particular there, Adam?
It's got to be Brands Hatch, a British track. Is that which layout is that?
Indy layout.
Oh, not my favourite layout.
Adam Vaughan showing his knowledge of the championship there and the game, considering there's not actually the GP layout in the game. So so this conversation's gone well. Let's move on. Team points. Team points is this is how we stood before this race. Of course, Kunze and Lerner both doing very well in championship, have a healthy lead over M Technology, Wiesenmüller and Trostrom. Go Sports and THR Red 3rd and 4th, with Smile Power Racing 5th and 6th with their 2 teams. But we are about to go into the race. Just doing the grid walk in front of you for you guys, and we're going to watch the start of this race. Banky is in 2nd spot this time around, remember. So, what can he do on the right-hand side of the grid? As Kunze makes a good start once again, he's going to take the lead into this first section. Butcher also making a good start. He's going to get the overlap here, and Banky, but Banky has the outside line and then the inside line for the first corner. So it's going to be difficult here for Chris to move around the outside, and he doesn't do so. Banky charges into the corner, nerves Butcher wide, and now Butcher's going to get monstered by Lerner as a result as well. Butcher's not happy about that, but Lerner, he's clever racing there from Lerner. He made sure he gave a little bit of room to the aggressive Butcher without compromising his position. So Butcher, he's in 4th spot. Kunze lead, Banky, Lerner, Butcher, Stanger, Shepherd. And then we've got Schulze in 7th spot. So a fantastic qualifying performance from him. In the background, we've got all kinds of 3-4 wide action into this very wide hairpin. And he's all sorted out before we go down into these fast flowing sections back here. And they have done so. So Shepherd he slots there in ahead of Wiesemüller. Wiesemüller in 7th. Shepard is in 6th. We've got 8th Amaral. So where did Schultz go after that? Schultz is in 9th. So Schultz is in the yellow Lada in behind Amaral. Look out for Schultz in this race. He looks pretty quick. And down the inside is going to go as well.
Looking at Butcher through the second or first or second turn there, I thought he was just a little bit too aggressive there. Didn't give Banky the room, and Banky had nowhere to go effectively, and that just killed Butcher's momentum into the next corner.
It did indeed, and he's lost out there, so he's back in 4th spot, but he's come back from this before. And my apologies, I think maybe showing the standings here. Sorry guys, I did click, didn't go on there. My apologies. So Butcher got nerfed out wide at the start of the race, and then with all kinds of 3-4 wide action down towards the hairpin. The race has all shuffled itself out now. Everyone's settled down, but Schultz are here defending from Basser. So the front of the field, Kunze has an 0.8 of a second gap over Ben's Banky, with Lerner right in behind Banky, and Butcher's a little bit off the back of Lerner at the moment. As Schultz, he retakes the position there from Basser, who went for a very ambitious move. Meanwhile, Sean Jacobs, he has also taken advantage of that position. And again, earlier in these races, Sean Jacobs is making absolute hay. He's in 10th spot, Adam.
He is, yeah, he's doing really well actually, the guy from Australia. I'm not sure how my concentration would be at 4 o'clock in the morning. I remember when I used to race with Americans at that sort of time when it wasn't the best, but absolutely great there. Talking of, I think it was Bastos at the hairpin. I think he got eaten by 3 cars there, so I'm not sure what he was doing into that hairpin.
Yeah, far too aggressive there. As Wiesemüller has gone past Chris Shepard into 6th spot. Obviously got a great exit from the hairpin, kept the inside all the way through turn 1, and of course had all the high ground heading into turn 2 as a result. Amaral out of the race. In the wall, look. In the wall he was. He just caught a glimpse of that. You didn't escape the cameras there, Pedro, despite you escaping back to the pits. We saw you. You were in the wall. Amaral out of this race. Now, was he pushed or did he jump?
To be honest, I didn't even see him in the wall. It was quick.
Almost the Houdini there. Oh, in the background! Who's that rolling? Is that Koshkin? It is Koshkin. Koshkin has gone straight into the wall hard. Look at, and in the background as well, we got, so that's Holock. He's crashed into the wall as a result of that. He's turning round. We've got Kexel coming through. Koshkin doesn't know whether to move. There's a rabbit in the headlights. He may as well drive into the wall again because it's already broken. And Koshkin is just about getting the car going, and away we go, chugging away. But I feel that car has seen the best of itself. Look at the damage to that car. Koshkin, after a great first race, has destroyed his chances in the second race.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and I'm not sure what he was doing there, but he's definitely not just going to pass his driving test reversing like that.
No, but it was a 2-point turn rather than a 3-point, because that was straight into the wall he went. I guess he didn't care because he's already destroyed his car. This is the closest battle at the front right now. Banky with Lerner in behind him. Butcher is some 3 seconds off the lead here. Massive change of fortunes in this second race, with Kunze just pulling away.
Yeah, he seems to have the pace on Banky, which is a bit strange considering Banky seems to match him in qualifying. Kunze's obviously just got that little edge of a race pace on Banky, and Butcher again, he's gone back to his usual ways. Not impressing this race.
Oh well, so we'll see what can happen the rest of this race. Lerner looking very hungry in the back of Banky though, looking to make another Euronics 1-2 this season. They've had 2 of them. Maybe they had 3 of them. In fact, actually, I tell a lie. They've had 3 of them this season. As Banky's gone wide at the hairpin. So Banky's consistency is suffering here. He's in 2nd spot, but on the left-hand side, there is Moritz Lerner. We can just about see him, and Banky had the inside. It's amazing how long that corner is and how being on the outside really, really does affect you. So Lerner lost lots of ground on the outside there and had to stop back in again. Oh, Lerner's gone sideways. He just caught it. Didn't clean up Banky, and now he's lost all that ground and has Butcher right in behind him. So that was great camera work for myself because we caught all the action.
I'm not sure how he gets that sort of angular slide and how he does that. I'm not sure whether maybe Banky just slowed up in front of him and he's had to have a small stomp on the brakes, but I'm not sure quite how he does that, to be honest.
And we've got Robert Wiesemüller with a all over the track Jan Stanger ahead of him. Jan is alone in the Go Sports international team now at this stage of the season after Alex Dorneden quit the race at the championship after Mid-Ohio, frustrated at what's happening around him. Frustrated more with himself than anything else, I think. We're getting a good look at the exhaust structure of Jan Stanger's car as Wiesenmüller goes down the inside. Honda overtakes Chevrolet, or does he? Because he's quite narrow on the exit. Where is Jan Stanger? He should be thereabouts. There he is. So he has slotted in behind Wiesenmüller now. Wiesenmüller, he's charging. He's up to 5th. He qualified in 9th spot. If only Wiesenmüller could qualify in pole, what on earth could he do, Adam?
Well, win the race, as we've seen in race 1, and he's obviously got the pace. Just looking at his overtaking move there, and it looks like most of the drivers are running into the pits now. As Robert was coming in, I thought, is he going to leave enough room for Stanger just to pop out the pit lane, or is Stanger going for a trip into the wall? It made me very nervous. That I'm not quite sure that I'd leave as lesser room as Rob did there.
Oh, down the inside goes Butcher on Wiesenmüller and Butcher. Oh, he tried it. But Butcher is one of those drivers that is almost a match with Wiesenmüller in the offensive-defensive stakes. And Butcher didn't allow him through. Just rolled out of the throttle, kept the high line, and made sure Wiesenmüller didn't have any ground to make up. And he'll be chewing all over the back of Butcher here. Probably scream. Well, if they were still teammates, are they together on TeamSpeak at the moment? No, they're not. They're not together on TeamSpeak at the moment. So I would have thought maybe Wiesenmüller would be screaming at Chris to let him through here. Remember, they used to be teammates in THR. They're very successful THR. Robert, 3-time TPS champion. Chris, always the bridesmaid. And Wiesenmüller is all over the back of Chris right here. Looks like it's just a matter of time before Wiesenmüller goes through. He's got the bit between his teeth today.
Yeah, he's looking really quick. And looking at, he did a similar move there, and what he did to Kunzer in the first race, where he popped into the pit lane and he just threw it down the inside of Butcher. Butcher just held it again, similar to the previous hairpin on the outside line, kept his foot on it, but he just absolutely just launches in on the brakes there and gets it stopped as well. He's looking almighty on the brakes at the moment. He's going to throw it up the inside.
There we go. That was a dummy. That was a dummy that Chris absolutely bought, and Wiesenmüller just threw up the inside. Thank you very much. On my position, bit of fisticuffs on the exit, but they got themselves sorted out. Wiesenmüller up to 4th spot. You saw that. We both saw that, didn't we, Adam? Where he just feinted very slightly to Butcher's left, and then he went straight to the inside again once he saw Butcher wasn't going to defend. That was beautiful stuff.
Yeah, what he's doing as well is he's sort of extending the amount of track that he runs into, so he can be late on the brakes. And that corner, he is absolutely unreal at doing it. And on the last hairpin as well, he's showing his class now, Robert. This is the Robert I like to watch. Yeah,
and it's a very good viewing at the moment. And further down the field, Janko Glavak, remember, he won a race at Nürburgring early in the season. He missed Mid-Ohio due to other commitments. Getting drunk in Ireland was the reason, apparently. But Glavak is in 12th spot right now. He's trailing his team boss, Mike Bell, for 11th spot. So Glavak's not showing the form that he showed earlier in the season, where he took a good 4th spot at Zandvoort. Of course, that race win, his breakthrough race win at Nürburgring.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what getting drunk in Ireland will do to you.
It probably would. He's probably still recovering a couple of weeks later, to be honest. Brizola has made a mistake. He was ahead of a couple of drivers. I think Muller and Andre. And looks like he's been into the gravel. I've seen a bit of Brizola's racing this season so far when reviewing the replays. And he's just made so many mistakes this season. In the Brazilian scene, on GameStop, Car and R-Factor, this guy absolutely rules the roost, Adam. He destroys everybody. But come to this game, this series, this field of drivers, these cars, he just makes so many mistakes. Maybe it's out of frustration.
Yeah, it's GameStop cars, rear-wheel drive. These are front-wheel drive. He's shown the pace last year. Again, I don't. It's very hard to be a master of 2 classes, and I don't think it's necessarily the car. I just think it's the people, the drivers we have in this league are just absolutely unreal. These are top drivers.
They are, and lots of these drivers will go in other communities and they absolutely destroy, don't they, all there on the podium or top 5 finishes over and over and over. I know Stanger. Few people didn't sign up because Stanger was in the league because they thought he was too strong and they couldn't beat him. And Stanger this season so far hasn't even threatened a race win. So Stanger's been so dominant elsewhere, yet coming here hasn't been anywhere near that kind of domination. I mean, he's doing very well. I mean, he's second in the championship, just through pure consistency of top 6, 7, 5 results, rather than the blistering pace he's known for elsewhere.
Yeah, just as we're looking, then I'm sure Sean Jacobs was seen just flying off the track backwards into the wall. I don't know if you caught that. He
I didn't
looks
catch
like
that.
he's now
He's
retired.
out of the race as well. Yeah, he's definitely out of the race. So I didn't catch that, and he was running very well indeed. So he'll be absolutely fuming. But that's one of the things that you struggle with when you're racing at that time of night is the concentration, isn't it, Adam? We've seen that before from our good friend Reese Gardner when he's been racing. He'll do well, and then there's that lapse of concentration because it's so early in the morning for him, and they end up throwing it into the wall, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes of just qualifying hot laps that you have to put in to even get near what pace you should be at. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't think I'd last lap 2.
No, but of course, yourself, Adam, you have won at kind of that time in the morning. What was it? Around about 1, 2 in the morning in the old ATCC, which is the forerunner to TCOne. In fact, it counts as you being a TCOne race winner. So it shows it is possible. Remember, Jesper Torborg won the TCOne at that time in the morning. Francisco Villar, Miguel Nato, they used to win races at that time in the morning as well. So it is possible. Stoffel Van Dorn, remember, TCOne champion. I think it was 2 in the morning for him. So it shows it is possible, but it takes such massive amounts of concentration. It is difficult.
Yeah, you have to change literally the way you sleep. I know that sounds stupid, but it always Butcher tries an outside move there on Rob.
Yeah, it was optimistic to say the least.
It was. I don't think anyone's going to get Rob at that corner today. Absolutely no one.
But what is interesting, sorry to interrupt, Adam, in that point, is Rob has not pulled away from Butcher. He's got past him, he's stormed past everyone, and then he's just stopped. Maybe he's used all his tyres up.
It looks like he has, because Butcher's really caught on the back from through that right-hander. And yeah, Rob, we see Rob just pounce through the field early on. Butcher hasn't really been battling with anyone either. He's just been sitting there in 4th or 5th. I think Rob's the only one to overtake him. So I imagine his tyres are just a lot better than Rob's at the moment, who's been making unreal manoeuvres up the inside of everyone.
Yeah, but I think he's taking liberties with his tyres to get into that position. He's paying the price now as his pace slows down. It looks like Butcher's just a little bit faster, I'd say, here. And we might see Butcher overtake Rob before the end of the race. Stevanovic is fighting with another Australian, Matthew Wheeler. He's in the Citroen, one of the few Citroens in the field. In fact, the only Citroen in the field here today. Kevin Anderman withdrawing from the series, and Tommy Oyala absent from this race. So he's holding up this Citroen honour at the moment and doing pretty well also in that 13th spot. The development of, I know we're watching him lag around here because he's from Australia, but the development of Matthew Wood has been really impressive, Adam. When he first came to TPS, he raced in the Virtual Super Tourers, which was the Touring Masters Season 7 season, and you have to say he was back of the field. You know, there's no other way to say it. He was very much back of the field, very much way back off the pack. And when I say back off the pack, it means a lot slower than the drivers who were at the back of the pack themselves. And then we see, and he improves a little bit more in TCOne 2015. He only did half a season there. And now we see his development, you know, a year and a half later, and he's mixing it solidly at 4 in the morning in midfield with these guys.
Yeah, I think when you come into series like this and you find yourself at the back, it can make you do two things. Like you said, some people didn't even join the league because Stanger had joined. We've seen other people come from communities who absolutely just destroy the communities. They're known as the alien from their community. They'll do a race and they'll quit. But you get guys like Matthew Wheeler who come in, they're at the back, and it just inspires them to go, well, I can do that, and that's exactly what he's done, and that's the right attitude to have.
It really absolutely is, and it's very impressive. The improvement from Matthew Wheeler has been absolutely fantastic. He was the biggest surprise to qualify in Division 1 in the first place, but it wasn't a fluke, because all throughout this season he's shown himself he belongs in this company, and it's been very impressive to see the improvement over the past year and a half from Matthew Wheeler. Chris Visa himself also improved this season so far. Had a much better going at Mid-Ohio, not going quite as well today. Mid-Ohio was in the top 10 a couple of times. He's back towards the back end of the mid-pack, fighting here with Maciej Sakovic. Sakovic has also improved this season with these two races. Earlier in the season, he was more back in the kind of 25th, 30th spot area. Now back up to 15th. So he's done pretty well just to drag himself up a little bit more. Impressive from him. And these two Poles are going at it hammer and tong for their bragging rights of their country.
Yeah, I remember Chris Visa being in the top 10 pack, and he took advantage of all the chaos in race 1 that was going on in that top 10 pack, and took a couple of positions. But yeah, not showing the pace this race, but he's racing a fellow Pole, so this could get quite tasty. As it looks like He's just got the better line there, I think. Yeah, you can see he's got right in the back of him now.
Oh no, not here! Please don't be sideways here, guys. Not here. Oh, and Visa had to back out of it there. That was a poor move from him, really, because he had to back out of it so much that it's allowed Dinka Andre down the inside, the Romanian down the inside, debut in Division 1. He takes the position away from Visa, and now we're trying to go through also as well is Eric Brizola, and he has done so. And Brizola has somehow, oh, it says on the screen, come out ahead of Dinka Andre, but that's not correct. We can see Dinka Andre way up the field there. So that's not. Oh, where is Dinka Andre? Maybe he's dropping back to the field. What on earth is going on here? So I think Dinka may have disconnected. Dinka has just disconnected. Just as we were watching his crowning moment, his glory moment, he's lost. It's out of the race. So Kunze, though, is leading this race. He's not out of the race. He's leading it by a country mile once again. Not quite as dominant as Mid-Ohio, but 3 minutes to go here, and a 3-second lead over Banky, who has held that second spot, and Butcher's gone back past Robert Wiesemüller, by the way.
Yeah, this is a typical Kunze race again. He's just set his own pace and he's gone away. I think Banky will be disappointed looking at his qualifying pace relative to Kunze. He seems to have it there, but in the race, Kunze just has got the edge, and I'm disappointed with this race, to be honest. They let Kunze get away. What are they doing?
What are they doing? And we're watching a battle here between Lazarenko, Tarski, and Kexel, and they have been swapping positions all race long. Look at the back of Lazarenko's car. Just look at the spy of the back of Lazarenko's car. He has been rear-ended a couple of times at least. Tarski now looking down the inside. Is he attacking? Is he defending? I can't tell. Lazarenko to the inside. He's defending thin air, it has to be said, because nobody was actually attacking him. Tarski can't get any traction off the corner. Kexel's coming around the outside. Looks like Kexel's got the inside and going to take the position here. You'd think this was for the World Championship. It's just for 21st spot.
Yeah, they'll be absolutely enjoying themselves as well. That's the thing. When you're in a battle like this and you're swapping positions, it's great.
And no! Kexel won't be enjoying himself. He won't be enjoying himself because he is in the gravel. I'm not sure what happened to my H there, but he's in the gravel. Kexel tried to go up the inside of Tarski, side by side up through that hill. It just doesn't work out him through there, does it? Because your car is so unloaded through there.
Yeah, any small touch there. We've seen cars just lose a little bit of grip and just come sideways. So if someone wants to give you a little love kiss through there, it's not going to end well, as we've just seen.
No, it's not. And Schulze has been solid this race so far. He's in 8th spot, challenging Chris Shepard. Remember, Schulze, this is his debut in Division 1. Shepard himself has been very quick this season so far. Schulze destroyed Division 2 last time out. Didn't do amazingly well in race 1 here, in the mid-pack kind of area, but much better in race 2, qualified much better, and now challenging one of the front runners so far this season, Chris Shepard. So impressive stuff from him. Glavach himself, we talked about Glavach earlier. He was trailing Bell. He's now back past his team leader, so he was pleased with that.
To note on this battle as well, Chris Shepard is known to have a lot of lock in his car, and you can see Schulze's cut right up to the back of him. Chris struggling with tyre wear from about the 8-minute mark we've seen in previous races, and I think Schulze will eventually get this done on Shepard.
Well, he's only got a lap to go after this one, so he's going to have to get a move on, you would think. And Chris, of course, remember, he's never backwards in coming forwards, and never backwards in defending backwards either, quite frankly. He's always up for a fight. And Stevanovic is fighting with Matthew Wheeler. That was the battle we were seeing earlier, watching, and Stevanovic almost got through Wheeler at the hairpin, it seemed like to me, but Wheeler managed to hold on. Last lap of the race then, Julian Kunze. Well, again, it's just a trademark race, isn't it? Just put his signature stamp on this race, taking the lead of the race from the start, led by a second at the first lap, and now is driven away once again. And Kunze looks like he's on course for what will be his 6th win of the season from 8 races. Sorry, that's an absolute lie. From 11 races.
Yeah, he's been the class of the field again. I think he'd be happy that he set his stall out again to say, oh, you may have got me last race, but look what I can do. Yeah. And it's the consistency,
statement, isn't it?
Throughout qualifying and race, every round, and he does this, and you know he's had that little slip up there where people have been rounding, but absolute quality again this race. Yeah,
and Shepard has lost a position to Schulze, so Adam called that absolutely right. Schulze has slipped past him as Kunze approaches the end of the race here. And he's going to come across the line. That's 6 wins from 11 races. A fantastic record this season so far from Julian Kunze. He truly is the master of TC1 at the moment, perhaps the master of entirety of the RaceRoom racing experience. He's put himself on the map, made a statement there, didn't he, Adam? He slipped up in qualifying, well, not slipped up in qualifying in the front row. Banky beat him, which he would have been sore about, and then he made a mistake in race 1, and then he came out in second qualifying, put an absolutely stonking lap on pole position, and then just drove away from the field and said, yeah, that last race was a blip, mate. You guys have still got a fight in your hands to try and beat me.
Yeah, what's impressive is the lap that Banky set as well, which was about a tenth quicker than the previous pole, race 1, and then Kunze comes out and just destroys that by another tenth. Absolutely unreal.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Julian Kunze. Really, really is. I mean, it's kind of boring for us to watch him win race after race after race, but he won't mind one little bit. It's very impressive to watch. Massive respect to him now then. So we're going to have the qualifying 3 session and race 3 session coming up in just a few minutes time here, guys, as the results are confirmed for you there. Fastest lap of the race there from Lerner, and no one got in the 11s in the first race, by the way. 12.0 was the fastest from Moritz Lerner, and 2 drivers, both Euronics drivers, got in the 11s this time around. So that shows they stepped it up this time around, didn't they, Adam?
Yeah, they did. They're currently just absolutely devouring the team championship, and I don't see Kunze not winning the drivers' championship and Euronics not winning the team championship either. Both very, very classic drivers.
And remember, Stanger was the closest, as we can see on the driver standings board. Stanger was the closest to. Let me just get that up for you. My apologies. Stanger was the closest to Kunze, words, going into this event, and Stanger's been beaten handsomely in both of these races. So all Kunze's doing is extending his championship. He's beat Butcher in both races, but beat Lerner in both races. All he's lost out to is Wiesenmüller, really. Oh, sorry, he came 4th, and Lerner slightly beat him in the first race, so not much ground lost. And Wiesenmüller the only person to beat him and gain any kind of ground, but then immediately the roles reserved for the second race, reversed for the second race. So, he's extending his championship lead further and further and further. Remember, there's 50 points for a win. At the moment, at the end of this championship, there's going to be 16 races left. There's obviously plenty of points to play for. But Kunze, again, drop scores will come into play, but he's got such a strong set of results at the moment. He can afford a disaster in one of these events. He can afford to have 2 DNFs at the moment and still have a commanding championship lead.
Yeah, I think one of his drop scores is literally just going to be a 4th position of some kind. That's how inconsistent he is. He's just been the class of the field, and I don't think you're going to get very good odds on him losing the champion. Not winning the championship, I should say. Sorry. So yeah, I think
don't bet on it. You can bet on it. You won't lose, but there's not much point because you're not getting anything back for it. That's what we're trying to say. Because I think if this was a real sport title race right now, the bookies would be paying out for the publicity. Don't you think?
Yeah, they would. He's just a really, really class driver. And like I said, if you just watch him drive, I know I keep going on about it, but his lock, and it's so important that because it means he's got an insane pace with that little amount of lock, and then towards the end of the race, his tyres are better than everyone's again, and he's still quicker than them.
Yeah, it's one of those vicious circles that you see in, or obviously a non-vicious circle, a very friendly circle that you get in racing in general, isn't it? The less lock you use, and yet you can still go fast, means you can go faster for longer. Whereas somebody uses more lock, then they then have to use even more lock to keep their speed up, which obviously eats the tyres, and then you get the circle going round and round and round, where you've got the tyres becoming more and more warm because you're having to use more and more lock, whereas he's keeping that he's stopping the vicious circle even happening. So it's very, very impressive. It almost doubles your reward when you can do that, rather than just give you I've got better tyre wear. It doubles it because you don't have to try as hard anyway later in the race to go as fast. You've still got more grip. So very impressive stuff.
Yeah, and we've seen class drivers like Robert. You've seen then, he bounces up through the field, but then his tyres are gone, and Chris Butcher manages to overtake him again. And Robert is as quick as Kunze, but Kunze's just got that edge in tyre wear as well, which is it's not very fair.
So there we have it. It's unfair racing from Julian Kunze at the moment. We're going to have the qualifying 3 session coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the TCOne 2016 broadcast from Sonoma. Race 4, we've got Race 3 and Qualifying 3 coming up in just a minute or two's time. Quickly tell you about another championship that's happening right now. Is the Audi Sport Online TT Cup, or Audi Sport TT Cup Online. Please don't shoot me, Audi, for saying that wrong. The TC2 Championship. This actually has in probably a better prize than the TC1 Championship, Adam. The winner gets a driving experience in a real Audi TT Cup car and an Audi R8 V10. How about that?
It's not only an Audi R8, it's an R8 V10 Plus, I believe, as well. Which
a Plus. Ooh. How do you even know that?
But I like my Audi R8s. I know.
I arranged the prize. I don't know that. Never mind. So it's an Audi R8 V10 Plus, which I got no idea what that means, but sounds gimmicky to me. Fantastic stuff. So it is an amazing prize, and at the moment it's actually Alexander Dorneden who's dominating that championship alongside Etienne Bruns. But Etienne made a big mistake at the opening round at Nürburgring. You see 2 rounds have already gone in that championship so far. 11 days time, we'll have the next round of the season from Hungaroring. So looking forward to that. It's going to be it has been a fantastic championship so far. Amazing close racing. Jake Sanson and Robert Wiesenmuller on the commentary team there. So qualifying 3 and race 3 is now going to come up. Qualifying 3 is underway. Drivers are halfway through their opening laps. Predictions for this, Adam?
I'm going to go with, again, Chris Butcher. It's going to happen. Butcher's going to put it on pole. He's going to do a concert. He's going to lead the race all the way through. Chris Butcher for the pole, for the win. Let's go.
Okay, so that's the prediction from from Adam Vaughan. Apparently, Chris Butcher to win the race here. With quick pole position here, sorry, should I say? And then win the race, it seems, as well, because you made a double prediction there. So you've set yourself up for a failure there, Adam. Fantastic stuff. Sticking your neck right out. Eric Bazzola. He's going to come towards the line now then. And he is not quicker than anybody so far. It's Kunze who's quicker than anybody. 11.3 once again. Can Banky respond this time round? Banky sets 11.6. Wiesenmuller and 11.7. Butcher 11.7 also as well. So Kunze already setting up quickly once again.
Yeah, 11.3. No one's gone quicker than that apart from Kunze in race 2 pole. So I take back my prediction. I'm going to go with Kunze.
He's so fickle. You're just a typical Liverpool fan.
It's him, not me.
That's what she said. Andre, by the way, look at that lap time from Dinka Andre. 7th spot right now. Where did that come from? I hope he didn't lag for that lap.
I don't even remember seeing him in the race.
Because he did disconnected, didn't he, halfway through when he was challenging for about 15th, 16th spot. We were talking about him. He passed 2 people, and then from nowhere, he ended up disconnecting. So I'm hoping that wasn't a lag lap. I have a feeling it might be that he's gained a second in a sector somewhere as a result of a bit of lag, missing the sector, but whatever. Andre will take it. He's in 7th spot. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Kunze is already going quick. Goodness me, could we see a 0.2 here, Adam? Surely not.
As you switch to him then, in my head I just said stop it. It's not fair, is it? If he does an 11.2 here, I think they should all disconnect and we'll just watch Kunze go around for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we'll just leave it on auto director for a bit and just go and do something because it's 11.2. It's a 0.2. So 11.2, absolutely stunning. Oh, this is close look from Banky. He's actually faster than Kunze. That is scary, by the way. The fact that Kunze could, in theory, go faster in that first sector. Goodness me. Banky's gone faster in the first sector. He's green in the second sector, of course. He's going to improve here. He has a very small chance of beating this time here. If this is pole position, I will jump up and down in absolute idiocy, and it's not pole position, it's 0.139 off. It's a fantastic lap from Banky, quite frankly. 11.38 is a fantastic lap, but he's not going to make it happen. Butcher again, so that shows actually Kunter was pretty slow in that first sector, because Butcher's beating in that first sector as well, as has Banky, so that's very interesting. Wiesemuller Butcher here looking to beat Wiesemuller as Lerner goes into third spot. Lerner in third, Wiesemuller fourth, Butcher in fifth. Will he sneak into third? He does. He sneaks into third by 0.04 of a second. Butcher in third spot. Now then, Stanger in sixth, Bastos in seventh. We're watching Sakovic. He is on a personal best right now, 1.4 seconds. That middle sector from Kunter is absolutely stunning, by the way, Adam.
Yeah, it is, and you can we've seen drivers go quicker in the first sector, and going back to Banky as well. You see that all the time, that they're quicker. They know they're quicker coming into the last sector, and they literally just drop a couple of attempts. And I don't think Kunter's third sector was very good. He seemed to make a lot of time up in the second sector.
Yeah, it seems like the second sector is the place, because in that first sector again, like we were watching, he's gaining ground, and then Butcher, for example, lost over 0.3 of a second in that middle sector, which is absolutely insane. So Bastos goes fifth ahead of Wiesemuller. Wiesemuller once again not qualifying very well at all. Mike Bell here is on a quicker lap, but he's not going to get the time to finish the lap off. Nope, because there is the 0, and Mike Bell will stay in 16th spot. That's actually his worst qualifying so far this weekend, as it were. So Bell going backwards in these races so far. Did well in race 1, a little bit less well in race 2, and in race 3 not able to make it not on qualifying 3, not able to make it work at the moment. He's got Bogdan, that lovely rivalry, right next to him on the grid.
They've been mixing it up before in previous events we've seen, so that could be interesting. I think this qualifying is actually really well set up here. Remember, Rob is in 6th, but he won the race from 6th position last time. Butcher up there as well in 3rd. So this is the type of qualifying I wanted to see. I wanted to see Kunter under pressure and Butcher up there again.
Yeah, we've got again Banky though, 2nd spot again. So he's got 1st and 2 seconds. What a fantastic qualifying performance from him. And this is kind of we're seeing sort of here the birth of perhaps a new superstar, Adam. These are kind of like the seeds from which perennial race winners can be born.
Well, you can definitely improve his race pace. We can see that relative to Kunter. So I think he's slightly being edged out there, and if he does, he's going to be one of them that's just going to make me not want to come back.
But Banky looking like he can be a future TPS race winner, that's for sure, as the grid is forming up for you now, guys. We're about to head into this race. Kunter is on the pole position with Banky alongside him. We got Butcher in 3rd. We've got Lerner in 4th, and away from the grid they go, and again it's another great start from Kunter. Kunter has led into turn 1 3 races in a row now, and it's deja vu for Chris Butcher. He's on the outside of Banky heading into turn 2 once again. Can he make the move stick around the outside this time? It's better than it was last time. He's got the overlap. Can Butcher hold on here? On board with him. There's Banky around the outside. Power move from Benz, but Butcher now looking to cut back the inside. He can't quite get the power down in time. So Banky holds onto that 2nd spot. Butcher looking very aggressive early on. Kunter leads. Banky 2nd, Butcher 3rd, and Lerner in 4th with Wiesemuller in 5th. Chris Butcher's nickname is Butchie, and saying Banky then Butcher is quite difficult to say. So apologies for saying Banky then Butchie.
Yeah, Chris, looking at the first turn there, Chris learned from race 2 there, give him a lot more room and actually give himself a chance to make the overtake into the next corner. So much better from Chris, but Banky cutting him off, brilliant driving from him. And then here we see Sean Jacobs in 13th. And that's a lovely livery, by the way, by Mark Chevy. I really like that.
I've got to say that's the worst one. But okay, just looking at Sean Jacobs, because again, he's had a great start to the races. He's up in 13th spot, so he's shown great form here today. Pavel Koshkin's managed not to bin it in the wall and roll it this time round. He's in 15th spot. So these are the stories we saw from earlier in the races. Ooh, who is that having a little wiggle around? That's Brizola having a little wiggle in behind Eric Strana. Not quite sure why. There's no chance of getting through there, Eric. And your fellow Eric stays ahead. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, but Butcher is putting Banky under all kinds of pressure here for that 2nd spot. He has to get past Banky pretty quick, I think, to not allow Kunter to get away.
Yeah, he will. He needs to be aggressive early on here, get on Banky, overtake, and then chase Kunter down. Just looking at Lerner as well, he seems to take a lot more, and Kunter does the same thing. Takes a lot more outside line going into that hairpin, and I don't see why others aren't doing it. If there's more room there to go, they should be doing it also, because it leads onto this huge, well, nearly flat out section.
Yeah, it's so crucial that exit from there, because like you say, it's flat out almost all the way around here, isn't it? Until you get about halfway through down it, that's not. So you get about halfway through it, that's when it becomes different from the exit. But until that point, you are going really quickly. And Lerner there under braking took all kinds of time out of Butcher. He's probably scared of Wiesenmuller behind him and decided just to stand it on the brakes also as well. And Wiesenmuller just kind of pushed him to do that. We've got Bastos in the 6th spot again. Having a great championship at the moment. We've got Stanger in 7th, perennially around about 5th, 6th, and 7th, and perennially with him is Chris Shepherd in that 8th spot. I can't talk.
You're not doing too well at the moment, to be honest. I think Robert's close enough here, by the way, for a move on Lerner. He's done it very early, actually.
Oh, and he tried to dip out from the inside there, but I think he caught the back of Lerner. He saw Lerner's car wiggle as Wiesenmuller went to the inside and again to the inside here. But people are getting wise to that now. And Lerner has the ability and the racecraft to make sure he held it around the outside, didn't pinch too much to the inside, and kept a great exit. That was great driving from both those drivers.
Yeah, because if you look at Rob made that move and he hasn't lost too much off the back of Lerner either. Remember, we're through a fast section here, so the gap is a little large, but he's not lost a lot. So it just shows Rob's tried to make the move, but he's still then got momentum in behind Lerner.
Yeah, Bastos has got the best view in the house right now for this battle. Right in behind Wiesenmuller and Lerner, who are battling. We've got Butcher ahead of them. Of course, Butcher lost lots of ground to Banky after he just messed up the braking a little bit on, I think, the previous lap into that final hairpin. That's what happened there, I'm pretty sure. So Butcher now has got ground to make up back on Banky, who is closer to Kunter than he was in race 2 at least.
Yeah, he is. He's still slow. Actually, looks like he's closing in on him. We can't really take the times as what they are, but he's around 6, 7 tenths off, and it's at this stage, I think he'd already dropped into over a second. So yeah, he's dialing in his race pace ever so slowly. I hope he catches him. And Butcher looks like he's slowly catching up to Banky now.
Yeah, he's got his rhythm back, hasn't he, here, Butcher? So this is important. These drivers just keep it nice and smooth. Don't let Kunter get out there. See what Kunter can do. Kunter gets 2 seconds ahead. That's it, game over. No one's going to make that ground up. But in the background, we've got a hell of a battle going on here. We've got Brizzola, who's battling with Strana, who now is under pressure from Sean Jacobs. We've got Strana, who's battling with the 2 guys ahead of him, Schulze and Glavach. Glavach's there just appearing from the curve on the left-hand side. That curve, if you catch it just right, kind of just shoots you back across the track. And that's what happened to Glavach there. He kind of welcomed it sometimes because you're understeering, and then suddenly you catch the curb and the car grips, you send straight back over again. So it's a satisfying feeling when that happens, but it's risky because you can just go wide and go straight on through that fast section, remember. So you lose so much time through there if you end up off the track as Glavach. He just made a small mistake into that hairpin there, locked up the brakes, but Schultz was not able to take advantage. And Strana just keeping a watching brief for now. Strana kind of semi-retired from sim racing at the moment, isn't he? Just kind of doing it because he enjoys it right now, rather than doing it to win championship, it feels like. And we know he can be capable of. Won plenty of races in the past in the Touring Pro Series. So maybe one day, one track will ignite his his inside talent, and we'll see that come out at some point.
Yeah, as you just see his line, it wasn't quite right there coming into he seemed to catch up to the back of Schultz, but then lost out through the more important exit, which is the right-hand kink.
Yeah, now Lerner under massive pressure from Wiesenmuller. This is a scene we've seen before. We've seen before? Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, I can say that.
He's going to make the move.
He's going to make the move. No, he's not, because Lerner's decided to defend, because he's seen this story before also. Around the outside is Wiesenmuller. Surely not Rob. Surely not Rob. Where is it? There, he just caught the edge of his shadow. There he is. I thought that wasn't going to work, but he made a great job of it. Made a right fist of it there, because he's right in behind Lerner going into this first section. Look, very menacing that car looks when it's like that, isn't it? So menacing. You get the feel for the pressure that Lerner finds himself under. And Lerner goes straight on. Thank you very much, says Rob. Oh, and in the wall. In the wall goes Lerner. Gives the wall a small tag. And he's dropped all the way back. Oh, and off the track as well. Who's that? That's Shepherd. Shepherd off the track as well. So Shepherd's made a mistake at the same time. He was challenging the back of Stanger, I believe. Maybe they were side by side, and Shepherd ended up off the track. But while we're watching Lerner, Shepherd off the track as well. So Lerner and Shepherd back down the field. They're now back behind Sean Jacobs. Sean Jacobs has been pleased with that. He's ahead of one of the race winners this season so far. Rizzola and Strana have profited from that, as has Schulze. So this is what we mean about Lerner, isn't it, this season so far, Adam? He's either bang or bust.
Yeah,
boom or bust, I should say. I know I've been saying that wrong all the time. It's boom or bust.
I think what he's done there is he's seen Roberts so far behind him that when you're in that situation, you don't want to brake early, because if you go early, you're just going to get hit from behind. So they sort of force you to brake late, even though Robert didn't really have an overtaking move. He's forced him to brake late, and he just looks like he's had a little lock up and just gone straight on.
Yeah, definitely. This in the front-wheel drive cars, this section of track is so incredibly hard. You have to feather throttle and brake all the way up here. You see all the cars getting all out sideways, all trying to keep the car from going straight on, all trying to keep the car from going sideways, making sure you scrub up enough speed at the same time while you're going up the hill to make the turn for the next section. It really is an incredibly difficult corner, one of the most difficult corners on our calendar, I would say, in a front-wheel drive car, of course.
Yeah, it's so rewarding when you get it right, but like you said, you rest in the car at that point just to fling it over to the left, and on the brakes you're out of control and hoping that you can just kill enough speed to then just fling it right onto the apex. But under there, your car is just very loose.
Yeah, absolutely is. And Jacobs here, he's not content with getting that 11th spot right now, as he wants that 10th spot from Rizzola. He's having an absolute go here today. Sean Jacobs, very impressive performance from him. Apart from him being off the circuit in race 2, we didn't see exactly what happened. We're just in the background. But we got Glavac's train here at the moment. Oh, Lerner, how close does he get to those tyres on the inside? That was unbelievable. Glavac is holding up Schulze, who's holding up Strana, who's holding up Rizzola, who's holding up Jacobs, who's holding up Lerner, who's holding up Shepherd right now. So this is a big train of cars, and this could kick off any point. But at the moment, Chris Butcher is challenging Banky. Oh, that was a good time to get under Chris, because Chris got far too much curve on the inside there, pulled a Bogdan, and ended up losing lots of ground to Banky, who has Kunze pulling away from these two now again. Kunze with that 2-second lead that's so fearful and so dominating.
Yeah, he seemed to do that in the last couple of laps as well. Lerner looked like he was going to make a move there at the inside of turn 1, and I was a bit disappointed you cut away, but then I was glad to see you cut away to Butcher, who was flying on 2. It was very well held, actually.
But in this battle, by the way, Lerner did make a move with Rizzola, so Lerner did get through, although maybe Jacobs got through as well, so maybe Jacobs made a move, and Lerner took advantage of that. So not sure what happened there. Rizzola was very, very slow through that fast section there. He went very wide, didn't he, on the entrance to one of those corners. I'm not sure what happened there. So he's got Shepherd right in behind him. So we're looking forward to seeing Lerner try and make his way through this pack, because he's clearly faster than these drivers. Well, has shown he's faster than these drivers throughout the race, throughout the season in general. But making your way through these drivers is no mean feat at all, because the racing is so close. Everyone's much of the same kind of speed. 2 tenths here and there don't make any difference. They make all the difference in qualifying, but when you're racing, it makes no difference at all.
No, it doesn't. And looking at the pack up ahead, they're having a good friendly dice at the moment. They all seem to be pulling fakes on each other, all dicing across the track, and Glavac just in his rearview mirrors. It's not pleasant viewing at the moment.
He's just praying at the moment, I think, is Glavac. He definitely does not have the pace. A 13.0 fastest lap is not quick at all to be in the position he is in right now. So he's just clinging on for all he's worth. Remember, the drivers at the front of the field can do high 11s, and even people in the top 5 are generally doing, low 12s, mid 12s. So him to do a 13.0 is not quick at all, but of course he's been under pressure all race long. Lerner, he's having a go at Jacobs in the background. He was not able to make the move stick, and Jacobs keeping that wonky pingy car just ahead of Lerner. Well, this is driving Lerner crazy actually right now, because just in certain parts of the track, Jacobs' car just wobbles all over the place, and Lerner has to try and deal with that. Yeah,
you see the exit you got then in representative to Jacobs. They're going about the same speed from that slow corner. And like you said, he seems to just tuck in. It's like he sort of notches his right-hand wheel on the curb just to stay tucked in. He's like a train through there. It's absolutely brilliant to watch.
Speaking of trains, Kunze is railroading the rest of the field right now. He is leading this 3rd race here, looking for his 7th win in 12 races this season at the moment. The absolute peak of his powers right now and destroying the field in the championship, destroying the field here today at Sonoma. And looks like he's going to try and go and take that win once again. We've got Butcher still. He's behind Banky, but he's not really challenging him, is he, Adam? He's behind him, but not really ever at a point where, yes, I'm making a move.
Yeah, he seemed to be around this sort of gap away from Banky since the start of the race.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And it looks like they both made. Banky made a mistake early on. I noticed he dropped a second, and Butcher seemed to make a similar mistake as well. So Butcher will be disappointed with this because looking at race one, he had the pace to get Kuntz and Banky.
Maybe that's why he went. Looking at it now, maybe that's why he went for that. That super aggressive move during the fast section, because he thought that was his only opportunity, and maybe it was his only opportunity because it's come to pass in these next two races where he hasn't had any sniff at all at Kunter.
Yeah, well, no one has really, have they? The first race, and again we've seen Robert is currently sitting in fourth at the moment, and Malin Bastos he hasn't dropped him at all. Bastos has been right behind him throughout the whole race, so it's strange what we're seeing. I'm not sure what happened with Kunter in the first race. Maybe he went in with a weird setup. I'm not quite sure, but maybe the minute gap threw him off.
Maybe, but that would be a weird thing to throw you off, wouldn't it? And Lerner's still all over the back of Sean Jacobs, trying to make his way through. Of course, that when he gets close to that car, he has to try and just dive down the other side, just put his car in the way of the the high latency Chevrolet of Sean Jacobs, because he can't really make a half-hearted move. He has to go for a full one because Jacobs is driving extremely quickly right now. He's as quick as a former race winner Janko Glav actually this season. This is quick as former TPS champion Eric Strana. He's as quick as Division 2 destroyer Klaus Schulze, and he's just doing very, very well indeed right now, and it's difficult for Lerner to try and find a way through. Shepard, meanwhile, is not making any ground on these guys. I'm a bit surprised. The fact they're all close together. They're not exactly lapping at supersonic speed, and Shepard's not making any ground up. But of course, it is later in the race when Shepard's tyres do go off. Yeah,
that's what I was just going to mention. We're in the sort of stage of the race now where Shepard's tyres do go off, and Lerner's struggling here to get past Jacobs. And I don't necessarily think it's lag either. I just think Jacobs is driving a really good race, and Lerner can't get past him.
He can not be able to get past Schulze. It's been all over the back of Glavach for what seems an eternity in this race. He just cannot get past. Glavach there had to defend into the hairpin onto the back section of the circuit, and Glavach kept his spot. And now Schulze is under a bit of pressure from Eric Strana. The fight between Lerner and Jacobs has finally resolved itself with Jacobs off the track. So in the background there, we just saw Jacobs off the track and Lerner's gone through. So not sure what happened there. Maybe Lerner had enough, or maybe he just had an inside line and Jacobs tried to argue the point, but he ended up off the track and now he's back down to 12th spot, but still a good result for him at the moment. Shepard's gone through also as well. So 5 minutes to go. Maybe Lerner can catch up this group ahead of him. That's definitely what we can look out for soon. Schulze and Strana very close to Glavach. Butcher very close to Banky. Sorry, I almost did that segue beautifully, but I misclicked.
You did say Butchie as well.
I didn't say Butchie. I definitely said Butchie that time. No,
did you?
You just hear Butchie.
I'm going to watch that back.
In your dreams.
I'm going to watch that back.
Yeah, just
everyone
Butchie.
Everyone should hear Butchie in their dreams.
Oh God, that's a terrible thought. Wow, I'm not going to sleep tonight. Butcher right in behind Banky right now. Banky looking very, very quick, but he hasn't got the race pace, has he? Not got the tyre wear of someone like Shepard, but certainly not got the tyre wear of someone like Chris Butcher.
Yeah, it's like I said. I believe this is Banky's first race, isn't it?
No.
Oh, isn't it?
He commentated on the last race.
I did. Maybe I did.
He got taken out twice on the penultimate lap at the same corner on the turn 2.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember he was having a couple of dices with Robert Wiesenmuller. It's one of those things that Chris Shepard needs to work on. Maybe he just needs to save on tyres. It looks like Butchie is actually catching him here, but I know Butchie's been doing a lot of race runs to try and help his tyres.
No, you're saying Butchie.
That's because he is. And
such a hypocrite.
Like, I agree with you, actually. I think we're going to see something from Banky. He's just going to improve. I hope he stays in the championship and gives Kuntz a run for his money. Not in the championship, but in the races towards the end of the season. He looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, he pre-qualified really well and has just gradually improved throughout the season. He was a top 10 challenger at the first race and got involved in some battles there. At the second, 1. Then again, he had some great races, kind of like 7th, 8th. Mid-Ohio, again, remember he was running 3rd or 4th position before he got usurped rudely by Wiesenmuller and Stanger at the same turn on the same lap in the first 2 races. And then here he's improved once again. So he's slowly but surely just dragged his way up the top 10 towards where now he's challenging regularly for a podium position. So I'm hoping as we go forward throughout the season that continues to progress, because this young driver looks like a star in the making.
Yeah, he really does, and he's doing a great job defending from Butchie at the moment. But you can see Butchie's making small mistakes in behind him, and Banky's just driving his lines.
So you can see Butcher's trying very hard actually there as well. It shows how quick those two are going, because Butcher's making those small mistakes and just trying absolutely 110% try and get back past Banky. Of course, he's a completely unknown quantity to these drivers. They're probably a little bit offended, some of these, being beaten by Banky, because no one really knows who he is. And nobody has the history behind him. It's like, if you get beaten by Kunzer, you know, from this season so far, you think, wow, it's Kunzer, right? I'm not too bothered about that. You know, he's ridiculously quick. Get beaten by Rob, a 3-time champion. Get beaten by Chris Butcher, most experienced driver in Touring Pro Series. Has won the 3rd most amount of races in TPS history. You know, has almost won a championship before. Again, you're not that bothered about it, right? But if you get beaten by Banky, you're a bit miffed, because who's this guy? Who's this young upstart sort of thing?
Well, they should as well, because to see him in the first races, finish top 10, it just shows that he just put a bit more effort in than everyone else. Like I said, the same thing with Jacobs. He gets inspired by how people are quick in front of him, and it just makes him a better driver.
And again, Sean Jacobs, just like Matthew Wheeler, we spoke about Matthew Wheeler and his story of him back of the field. Speaking of Matthew Wheeler, by the way, he's out of this race. So sorry about that, Matthew. We probably jinxed your last time around. But again, Sean Jacobs is another driver, exactly like Matthew Wheeler, a very surprising qualifier for Division 1, considering his pace of just a year and a half ago again in races. And we see the back rows where Strana and Lerner together. Lerner's got past Strana. Now then, so Lerner makes his way up to that 9th spot. We said look out for Lerner catch up to the back of this group. He's still got, I think, a lap and this one left to try and get up to Schulze also as well, his fellow German Lada driver. So look out for that. So Lerner making his way back to the field after that mistake under heavy pressure while running the 4th spot from Robert Wiesenmuller. But again, Jacobs was very poor in other communities so far, by all accounts, for other people. And then, he's just born to life. Again, he's clung on to his Division 1 status. I mean, he has clung on. He's relied on a couple of absences here and there just to get into the top 32. But now, we're halfway through the season, and he's obviously going to be a mainstay rest of the season, because this showing from him has been fantastic. And like you said before, exactly like Matthew Wheeler, inspired to go faster rather than intimidated.
Just looking at the front, Butcher's got Banky.
Oh, he has. I do apologise. Missed that. So Butcher has got past Banky. Was that at the first turn? I presume it was, but it just happened, didn't it?
Yeah, I noticed he was getting closer and closer towards the edge of that lap, so that say something either on the home straight or towards the first turn. But Butchie's made that move on him now.
Butcher into second spot. Butcher into second spot. Oh, you're making me worse. Butcher into second spot ahead of Banky. Last lap of the race. Kunzer is about to finish this race. Not talking about him very much because it's been very much routine from Julian Kunzer. He is going to win his 7th race of 12 races this season so far. Going into this season, we knew he'd be a top driver. We didn't know just how good he would be, but Jesus, he's been good, hasn't he? He's been absolutely fantastic this season so far. 7 wins from 12 races. Julian Kunzer makes it a double win once again at an event, just like at Mid-Ohio. Kunzer wins. Fantastic stuff. He's dominating the championship. Who can even touch him, Adam?
No one, absolutely no one. I think we're going to see possibly people coming close to him in the race, but in terms of the championship, I think he's set the groundings already, and he just needs to continue what he's doing.
I think all people can hope for is that he pulls a Lewis Hamilton towards the end of the season and loses a bit of desire to go just as quick because he's already won the championship, sort of thing, That's all people can hope for at the moment, I think. That's the only weakness I can see in his Arsenal, perhaps coming up. A bit of complacency, a bit of, well, I've already won it. No point trying 110%.
No one enjoys doing laps and laps of practice, so we could possibly see that, but he's this quick for a reason. So personally, I don't think we're going to see that. We're just going to see a very determined Kunzer just want to finish the job off early.
Could be a record-breaking season from Julian Kunzer, that's for sure. I was just waiting for couple of drivers to cross the line here. Torben Kexo is going to bring up the rear, and there we are, crosses the line. Division 1 debut for him also. So 24 drivers finished that, well, 23 drivers finished that race, 28 participated. So we lost 5 throughout that race, as often happens in race 3, isn't it, Adam, where people just end up just making a mistake, and that's it. They've had enough, not going back, not going to drive on. So fastest lap of the race to Banky that time around. So he's shown he's got plenty of pace, just perhaps working his consistency, and we can see him becoming a fantastic driver in the Touring Pro Series. Kunze from Butcher, Banky, Wiesenmuller, Bastos, Stanger, Glavach, Schulze, Lerner and Strana riding up that top 10 with Jacobs, Shepherd. Disappointing from Shepherd, actually got passed by Jacobs in the end also as well. So that's very interesting. Oh, yes, because didn't Jacobs fall back behind Shepherd after that mistake?
He did, yeah. When he ran off, Shepherd got back in front of him. So I was going to comment at the time. Actually, I thought Jacobs would get back in front of him just because of how Chris drives. And his tyre.
Yeah. I was going to comment at the time, guys, but I decided not to. But I'll use it later.
You butted in front of me.
As is my right as the senior partner in this relationship. That's all I'm going to say is all I'm going to do is laugh at that. So, fantastic performance from Kunze once again. We saw Wiesenmuller, of course, take the race win, and I think he'll be satisfied with the season now. He's just going to ride off into the sunset, and he's talking about quitting sim racing after the end of this season. And I think he'll be happy that he's just fulfilled that goal of just winning a race. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think after the first race he'd be really chuffed, but the results in the second, the third didn't really match that. His pace was good in the last race. He qualified 6th, finished 4th. He's only 8 seconds behind Julian Kunze, but he can't be too downhearted by that. I just think Kunze's just the class of the field at the moment.
And Wiesenmuller got that first. He got a 4th and a 5th. You know, and he said to me before the event that he would probably get 3 10th place finishes. So he certainly exceeded his expectations there. And they smelled blood in the water, didn't they, on Kunze in that first race? Not sure what happened, but whatever it was, Kunze rectified it for race 2 and 3 and just went back into beast mode, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I thought it might be maybe he had his qualifying setup or something like that, but people were matching him and catching him early on. It wasn't like it was late in the race thing that happened. Butcher was on him very early at the start, and then Robert obviously comes in from absolutely nowhere and just snatches that win away from him.
He does. So we're going to talk to a few of the drivers in just a minute or two's time, and we'll be right back after these couple of videos. Hello and welcome back to the TCOne broadcast from round 4 at Sonoma. We've seen some great racing here today, especially that first race, but we saw racing return to normal in race 2 and race 3 as Kunter took 2 more wins in this championship to extend his championship lead. And we're now going to do some driver interviews for you guys, get some thoughts on the drivers from those races. And first up, I'm going to speak to Robert Wiesenmuller. Rob, you took that first race victory. Just talk us through that kind of snatch and grab.
Yeah, well, I qualified 6th, and I think I gained 1 or 2 positions at the start, and yeah, I was just chasing the other cars. I was chasing Lerner first, and I passed him in the hairpin, and I think then I was behind Butcher and Kunze, or maybe I passed Bunky as well. I can't really remember, but anyway, at some point I was behind Butcher and Kunze, and they crashed in the second sector. So I gained a lot of time all of a sudden, and I was right behind Kunze, and he seemed to be out of his rhythm. So I just passed him in the hairpin, and I won the race.
It's kind of almost out of nowhere for you, Robbie. You went into this event with no expectations. Did that help you?
Maybe. Well, I was driving like normal, to be honest. I was not driving down or anything. I was driving pretty aggressive, and I didn't expect to win at all. And I don't think I really had the pace to win. I think the circumstances helped me a bit. But I don't care about that because I won, and it's amazing. I didn't expect that, and it feels great.
Well, it was a fantastic victory for you, Rob. Like I say, completely unexpected considering your thoughts going into the event. Now, in race 2, you fought back from 9th spot, poor qualifying after the high of that race 1 win. We went straight up to 4th, almost in the first few laps of the race. And then, did your tyres just burn off? Because it looked like you were struggling from that point on.
Yeah, well, I was a bit quicker every time I could follow someone, and when I was driving on my own, I had a few problems keeping the right lines on this track. And after I passed Chris, I had no one in front of me. And I was struggling a bit to keep the lines, and I was sliding a bit, and then that burned my tires. But I have to give a lot of respect to Chris for that overtake that he pulled on me, because that was great.
Yeah, and you know it's a great overtake when Rob gives you props for that as well, because Rob, you're probably known as the best overtaker in Touring Pro Series currently. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give too many secrets away, but it's actually quite simple. Most of the time I just dive bomb in quite slow corners when people don't expect it, when I'm like 3 car lengths back. That's all.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. Don't leave a spot in a slow corner for Robert Wiesenmuller. Very well done on those races today, Rob. Fantastic victory in race 1. Well done to you. Adam, you want to speak to Ben Spanky. Ben's young driver making his debut in Touring Pro Series this season and showing some phenomenal speed.
Yeah, I just want to talk about qualifying mainly, Benson. And how did you feel that you had the pace? I mean, I was very impressed with your qualifying. There was a first, a second, and a second. So how did you feel? And how did you feel your race pace was relative to that? Were you quite disappointed?
For first, I would like to say that a huge storm is approaching, so my connection is really awful now. So if electricity disappears, so don't be surprised. Well, about the races, it was a huge relief to be up there in the front and fight, because I had so many. I could not show what I was capable of. I managed to. Sullivan was especially great.
Well, it looks like we are losing you there, Ben. So looks like we are losing Benson's connection there. So we'll just have to cut that interview short, unfortunately, Adam. But like you said, he did get involved with a few incidents earlier in the season and didn't quite show what he's capable of. And here today, he was able to have clean races and he got podiums and poles.
Yeah, it's really good because, like you see, we're seeing his qualifying pace is unreal, matching Kunze, and those two are really the class of the field in terms of qualifying. And like I said, it's really positive to see that he's improved in his race, but then I think he can go just a little bit more, be on the pace, and be challenging Kunze for the wins, and seeing them dice to the finish. I think we're going to see more from Ben Spanky, really.
Mm-hmm. Right, we're going to speak to Julian Kunze now then, the championship winner, almost already. Julian, we're not too interested in race 2 and race 3. too much because, of course, it was back to normal. I'm sure you obviously very much enjoyed those races, but it was very much back to normal for us as viewers. In that, what changed though between race 1 and race 2? Because in race 1, you seemed pretty vulnerable. In race 2, again, you returned to that imperious form.
Hey, good evening. Race 1 and qualifying 1 was really laggy for me. This changed in qualifying 2 and the further races. So yeah, I did not get a good lap, and in the race I did not really have my rhythm, and Butcher stays right behind me. So yeah, and I did really many mistakes, and yeah, but Chris take advantage of them and passed me. And then unlucky for him, we were next to each other in the second sector, and of it, and in my opinion, he was turning into me. Then just flew like, I don't know, really heavy out of the track.
Yeah, nobody's giving any blame out for that one. It's one of those racing incidents where people are racing hard. I mean, you must feel like this championship's in the bag now, surely.
Yeah, it's a good, I have a good position, of course.
Well, that was a short and sharp answer there, Adam. You're going to speak to Chris Butcher now, then?
Yeah, mainly want to talk about race 1, is Patreon race 1, that battle and the incident and how he felt. I was very impressed with him. Really thought you had the pace there, Chris. How did you feel it went? And I just want to know a bit more about the incident. What happened?
Well, heartbroken, to be honest, because that's probably the best opportunity I'll get to win all season. There's not much to say, really. We were fighting hard, and I thought I had the move done in the hairpin, but the traction that the ladder gets is just insane. And Julian managed to pull back alongside and going into the S's. Yeah, I just tried to turn in, but obviously his car was there, and we all saw what happened. It was just one of those things, a bit of side-to-side contact, but it unsettled my car and fired me off. But I'm not sure what else I could have done there. I watched the replay, and it'd have been really tricky to back out from where I was anyway. So
I was just about to ask that. In hindsight, would you have done something? Because I thought there was a small window of opportunity, because Ryan was calling it as you were coming into it, just saying you need to give it a bit of leeway here, and just a little bit before that. Do you think you could have backed out just a little bit earlier, or were you just determined to just try and race with him all the way through that section?
maybe, I don't know. It's difficult because it's so hard to follow another car on this track. It's really difficult to see the apex and where the turns are coming up. And to be honest with you, I couldn't really see where I was. So no, I don't think so. In hindsight, maybe I would have backed off earlier on, but it's difficult because you've got to go for every opportunity that's given to you, and it just didn't work out on that occasion.
I mean, that's what we talked about, wasn't it, Adam? In the broadcast, maybe they felt that was going to be one of the few fleeting opportunities you get, and you just have to go for it. And it's easy for us watching, in hindsight, to say no, he shouldn't have done that. Yes, he should have done this.
Yeah, I'd said at the time that I probably would have done the same thing. I would have raced with him all the way through that section. So I don't see anything wrong with what Chris did. It's just unfortunate.
But both drivers there, this is quite funny, Adam, delving into the bag of racing driver excuses. Chris of blaming the car for having a better traction, and Julian saying he wasn't as quick because he had lag. So it's nice to see the racing driver excuses continue. It's great stuff.
I don't believe any of them.
And neither do I. So we're going to speak to Moritz as well. Moritz, a mixed bag result for you. They looked pretty solid in the first 2 races, and then that mistake while under pressure from Rob in that 3rd race.
Yeah, good evening first of all. Yeah, in the 3rd race it was yeah, like Robert said, he dive bombed, and I think the first corner is very stupid for a dive bomb, cause you have to I had to avoid a crash and go on the outside, and you have just no chance to brake on the outside. So yeah, I was going straight into the gravel and lost many positions.
Well, that's not what we saw, Moritz. We just saw you just go off all by yourself, to be honest. Rob was behind you and you just brake too late. You think you were pushed?
I don't know. I have to watch any replay, but it felt like this.
Okay, it didn't look like any push on the broadcast. I have to say, I think Adam probably would back me up on that one. But you find it difficult to put together a good race weekend where all 3 races are really good, Moritz.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope.
Yeah, 2 races good and 1 race bad.
Yeah, it's mostly like this. I thought I could do this race weekend, but unfortunately it didn't work out.
One of those things. And I mean, the rest of the season now is just all about making sure you help your teammate win the team's championship, surely.
Yes, of course, and I looking forward to the next races. And yeah, in the driver championship, I would like to have the top 3 positions. And yeah, let's see what the next races bring.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a Euronics 1-2 in the championship, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be nice. There's still a few races. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Moritz. And finally, we'll just speak quickly to Sean Jacobs. Sean, what time is it there?
We're at 5:24 a.m.
5:24
So good morning,
a.m.
Ryan.
Good morning, Sean. And we were talking about the fact that you raced in the middle of the night, and what 3 great performances from you there. I mean, obviously, we didn't see what happened in race 2, whether you were pushed off or you crashed by yourself. But either way, the speed throughout the event was so good, Sean.
Yeah, it was great. This track, there's something about it. It just suits me. I like it a lot. And yeah, race 2, you could almost call it the Wall of Champions. I'm not sure what the actual name is. After turn 4, hit those tires. And then yeah, into another tires, and then car was dead. So I was actually watching the broadcast. And yeah, so I heard your comment, but I'm like, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. So I was earlier gone. So yeah, but I was 9th at that time. So. Yeah, that was great.
The walls moved, didn't they? You know, they were in a different place the lap before, right?
I bumped everyone had. I bumped it a couple of times and it wasn't too bad, but this time it just put me sideways straight into the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of those things. But I mean, that pace, you must be so pleased with the progress you've made throughout the season.
Well, I took your advice. You said qualify further up the front, and I did. And it made a huge difference. So
if only it was easy as that, though. I mean, you can say that to everybody, but it doesn't quite work. You've got to put the effort in, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, last round surprised me. After the second round, I was getting a bit just down with my speed and didn't put too much in for last round, but managed to go reasonably well for me. So really put in for this round, and I was just happy. Yeah. And the team, I mean, Smile Power is great. They're great help with us, Mike and Chris and Jenko and Pedro. I think I got everyone there. Yeah, they're just a great team to be part of. So really happy with those guys, and they've been helping me a lot. So.
Looks like we have a muted Ryan Callan at the moment.
No, it's right. It's right. I was speaking away there, and I'd pressed the mute button. Thank you, Sean, and hopefully we see you towards the top 10, top 15 rest of the season also as well. So thank you for the drive.
Thanks.
Thank you for the interviews, drivers. Adam, any final words you've got to say? I mean, the Kunze juggernaut goes on.
Yeah, I just want to see people match him. I think I, as everyone else, has the same opinion. I just want to see someone step up and catch him. I think Robert has the potential to do that. Chris, if he puts the time in, has got the potential to do that. And Banky,
Moritz.
more importantly.
And Moritz
Banky.
as well.
And Moritz as well. But Banky, more importantly, I really want to see Banky just make a little step up in terms of race pace next couple of rounds, and be interesting to see where it goes from there. And also, more of Sean Jacobs.
More of Sean Jacobs, yes, absolutely. So Juggernaut Kunze continues. He was bitten by the shark Robert Wiesemuller in that first race, but came back strong, made a statement in qualifying 2 and then race 2 and then race 3 and qualifying 3. It was back to normal, as it were. Julian Kunze continues to extend his championship lead, and we are back live, like we spoke about earlier, in 11 days' time for the TC2 Championship. Jake Sanson and Robert Wiesemuller will be taking you through that at Hungaroring for the absolutely epic Audi TT Cup. I have to say, the cars are pretty boring to drive, but when you're racing, it's absolutely spectacular stuff. So make sure you tune into that in 11 days' time. And we're back in the TCOne Championship in 2 weeks' time from Brands Hatch. We go back to Europe after our excursion to the USA, and we're back at Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time for that. So last season at Brands Hatch, we saw the championship leader Miguel Nato in all kinds of bother. Will we see a championship twist there like we did last year? Well, we can only wait and see. Make sure to tune in then in 2 weeks' time. And from myself and Adam, thanks for watching and good night.